Could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test. Expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess. What's happening next? He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. Could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they...
What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Positive Podcast. I'm your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everyone doing this beautiful day, Friday? The end of the week is here. The weekend is upon us. I hope you guys all have great plans for this weekend. News and notes. I've been absent this week. I'm doing work on the podcast. I'm trying to get the podcast the way that I want it. So there should be changes coming in the next couple of weeks of how it goes about, hopefully the production, hopefully things get overall better for you and your experience coming checking out the Finn Posse podcast, the cosmetics of the channel, all that. So I've been working hard on that. Not a lot of news going with the Miami Dolphins right now. You know, we're making hires, filling out the coaching staff, some questionable moves in my opinion. We still have a bunch of questions that need to be answered. What are we going to do with Tua? Obviously Tyreek's not going to be here. So we have no idea what this roster is going to look like, but I think we can all come to the agreement that next year is going to be, it's not going to be for the faint of heart. I said it before that this team has not hit ground zero yet, point blank. You know what I mean? Like this, we haven't hit rock bottom yet. And it's about to come this season. You know, people want to talk about, well, can we have the turnaround that the New England Patriots did? No, absolutely not. You know, the Patriots made the turnaround they did because first and foremost, they had a young quarterback in Dre Mayar already on the roster, right? You know, they had a ton of salary cap space, not to mention you had a experienced, proven winning head coach come in here and Mike Vrabel to lead them. So no, there will not be a New England Patriots Cinderella story here for the Miami Dolphins next year, but that's all right. You know, it's going to take us a little bit longer. Hopefully Stephen Ross, Troy Aikman. Hold on, let me fix my mic. Hopefully that's better. Hopefully Danny Silverman, hopefully these guys know what they're doing and they got us on the correct path and they've hired the right people to get us over the hump. Lombardo, what's going on? Lots of snow this weekend in South Carolina, bro. That's what's up. You enjoying the snow? You enjoying the weather? A change of pace? So again, you seen the thumbnail, questionable moves. The big news coming out of Miami yesterday was the hiring of Nathaniel Hackett as our quarterback coach, replacing Darrell Bevell. I hate this move. I think this move is an absolute terrible move by the Miami Dolphins. If y'all remember Nathaniel Hackett, he's the one that Aaron Rodgers wanted in New York. He wanted him to be his offensive coordinator. And it ended up costing Robert Saleh his job. Nathaniel Hackett was absolutely horrible with the Jets. He was horrible with the Denver Broncos. And, you can say that he had success with the Green Bay Packers. And that's what I'm worried about with Coach Half and Sully coming from Green Bay. You're like, well, they came from a successful franchise. They're proven winners over in Green Bay. How much of that is to do with the quarterback play? People seem to forget that the Green Bay Packers over the last 30 years have had some of the league's greatest quarterbacks of all time. I mean, look how much of that success is based upon Aaron Rodgers, based upon Brett Favre. What would those teams look like without those two gentlemen? And then you have Jordan Love there now. And I wouldn't put Jordan Love in the same conversation as a Aaron Rodgers or a Brett Favre, but he's a decent young quarterback. He's not a horrible player. And, people want to, people are like, Big C, you got to give it a chance. These are good hires, blase, blase, blah. And I can't lie, I'm struggling. I'm struggling with the moves. I'm struggling with the decision making already. Why wouldn't you try to bring Darrell Bevell back? Darrell Bevell is a good quarterbacks coach. Darrell Bevell is a sought after offensive coordinator for some teams. Good morning, Bonnie. Good morning, Marcos. Nathaniel Hackett, though, I hate that move. I think it's a terrible move. And then the other move that I really hate is the O-line coach. We hire Zach Yenser. I don't even know if that's how you say his name, from the Houston Texans. Houston's offensive line has been trashed for years. Replacing Butch Berry, which I think Butch Berry did a hell of a job here. Look what he did with Patrick Paul. Aaron Brewer's playing some of the best football of his life. Austin Jackson played way better after we got Butch Berry. Look at what he had Cole Strange doing this year, Larry Borum doing this year, making them look like competent starters. So I think it's a mistake that Butch Berry's out the door, and that we replace him with the guy from the Houston Texans, because these guys got some kind of history together at Boston College. And you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand. I don't get it. There's too many, well, you were my buddy, or I knew you from this place, and going about hiring that way. But we got John Harbaugh. He's good. No, I wish we had John Harbaugh. I wish we did. And Sea Devil, you say it's only 4 years, no big deal, man. I'm getting up there in age. I can't take it no more. Lombardo says, sorry, no faith in this team. I'm just struggling with it. I want to be positive. I truly do. But move after move after move. And then the rumors that keep coming through the pipeline get me that much more nervous. And yeah, Mike McDaniel take Butch Berry with him. That's a good point. But is he taking Darrell Bevell with him? Like, has he taken Darrell Bevell with him yet? I just feel like there had to have been better options than Nathaniel Hackett and then Zach Yenser. There had to have been better options. Was there not anybody available that was an assistant with the Philadelphia Eagles? Was there not? You know what I mean? These teams that have fantastic offensive lines, we go and pluck assistants from teams that have terrible offensive lines. But the single biggest mistake I think the Miami Dolphins can make this offseason, and some of you are going to disagree with this, and that's okay. That's okay. The single biggest mistake the Miami Dolphins can make this offseason is going out and signing another Green Bay Packer. And that Green Bay Packer happens to be Malik Willis. Malik Willis. If the Miami Dolphins sign Malik Willis, it will set this franchise back even farther than what I believe they have already. Bonnie says, I have listened to several interviews and I'm really impressed with Halfley. He seems like the real deal. Bonnie, somebody can be a really good public speaker and not be a very good head coach. So while I agree with you that he sounds fantastic. Jeff Halfley sounds fantastic. Shoot, he makes me want to throw the pads on and run through a wall for him. He really does. But if you make bad decision after bad decision, questionable decision at least, I mean, we don't know what's going to look like. We don't know what's going to happen. So you can't call it a bad decision. You can call it a questionable decision, though. It's questionable to bring in these guys that have little to no success at the NFL level. But the single biggest mistake the Miami Dolphins can make, in my opinion, this offseason is going and giving Malik Willis a huge free agent deal. What up, JD? What up? If you go out and you give Malik Willis a big free agent deal, you're just screwing yourself that much more with the salary cap. Malik Willis has performed well in stints for the Green Bay Packers. But let's not pretend that he has just been, oh my God, he's a guaranteed lock as a NFL starter. I think it will be a massive blow to the Miami Dolphins if we go out and do that. You know, and I was listening to Doug, and he's like, I'll be cool if we sign up for 10 million. No, Malik Willis isn't getting 10 million in free agency. I wouldn't be surprised if his contract more looks like a Baker Mayfield deal. Maybe not quite as much as Baker, but somewhere on that par. Malik Willis is taking this opportunity to cash in, and somebody's going to give him an opportunity and give him that money. I just hope it's not the Miami Dolphins. But Green Bay's defense looked great, especially against the Bears. That fourth quarter, man, that's how you do it. And listen, Green Bay's defense was pretty good this year. It was pretty good under Jeff Halfley. It was. But how much of that was the guys that were already there? You know, Green Bay is, you know, has a history of drafting defensive heavy. You know, how much of that had to do with Sully and the real GM over there, you know, bringing the guys in? Honestly, I'm feeling like the Hackett move was to lure Rodgers here. How would you feel about that? I don't want Aaron Rodgers here. And Michael, they'll find the money for Willis. If they want Willis, they'll find the money. They'll find the money. No, he's not. He's Bonnie. He's better than Justin Fields. He's definitely got more potential than Justin Fields. There's no way he's taking a Justin Fields type contract. But Aaron Rodgers, and you know, I thought the same thing, Miller. I thought maybe this was a thing that maybe they're going to go out and try to snatch up Aaron Rodgers. That would be a massive mistake too. Aaron Rodgers is no longer a franchise-changing quarterback. He can no longer take a 4-win team to a playoff contending team. That's not who he is. He's not an MVP candidate quarterback no more. Now, I think Aaron Rodgers would probably be an upgrade on whoever we would have at quarterback. But what's that going to get you? Two wins, 3 wins? So that takes us from 2 to 3 wins this year to 6 wins, that would be a huge mistake too. The Miami Dolphins need to lose this year, and they need to lose a lot. They need to lose a lot. They need to lose so they are at the top of next year's draft. And I know that drafting at the top of the draft isn't a sure thing. But they need to go into next year's draft picking the quarterback that they truly want, having their choice of quarterbacks. Willis should take a Fields deal, but I don't think he will. I don't know. I'm not saying that he should be worth more than Fields. I'm not saying he should be worth more than Fields. I'm telling you that he is worth more than Fields, though. Teams are desperate, and he's shown glimpses. He's shown glimpses with the Green Bay Packers. So someone's going to take a risk. Willis has never played a full season. No, he hasn't. Miller says we can only cut 2 post-June, and we need to lose Tyreek, Chubb, and Tua. I feel that 43-year-old Rodgers wouldn't mind a retirement tour stay in Miami. I'm sure he wouldn't. But why? What sense does it make for the Dolphins? What sense does it make for the Dolphins? JD, I'm not saying he is better. I'm not saying that he's necessarily better than Justin Fields. But Justin Fields, they know that he can't throw the ball. A new GM and head coach are not going into the season thinking they are going to lose. They will do everything in their power to win. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true, Bonnie. You got to understand, they know they're safe for this year. They got to know that they're safe. They got to know that they're not going to be very good next year. First off, you're bringing in a new defensive scheme, a new offensive scheme, perhaps. Who knows what type of offense that Bobby Slowick's going to run? We don't know what we're going to do at quarterback. We have limited playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. We don't really have a pass rush. If we lose every game and Arch laughs and says he won't play for Miami, who is our fourth choice? I don't know who the answer is. Players come out of out the woodworks in college football. I mean, look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow wasn't on anybody's radar the year before, and then he comes out and he has perhaps the greatest college season of all time. Quinn Ewers came into the college season and was supposed to be a top 10 pick. And then look what happens to him. JD says, but I agree. Miami shouldn't bring him in unless he gets under 10 million. The only way the Miami Dolphins should sign Malik Willis to any type of contract, even if it's a cheap contract, is if they think that they can make the playoffs next year. If you think you can put together a roster good enough to make the playoffs next year and you can get him for 10 million, okay, cool. But what does finishing 7-10 next year do for us? It gives us another pick in the 10-11. We miss out on the top tier quarterbacks again. If you're gonna bite the bullet, if you're gonna lose games, if you need a franchise quarterback, you might as well do it now. We're in salary cap hell. This is an opportunity to fix the salary cap. You're not going to be good this year. Yes, you're not. But I'd rather have 1 year of losing horribly. I'd rather have 1 year of losing 2 games than 3-4 years of losing 9-10 games. And I think the only way you have a New England Patriots turnaround is if you have a losing year this year. What's going on, Joe? Y'all stop talking about Malik Willis. He's coming to Carolina, the backup Bryce, and eventually take his job. Yeah, I don't think he's taking a backup job. I don't think he's taking a backup job. And that's what, Joe, that's what I'm saying. People need to get on board with the tank. If we don't tank, we're stuck in mediocrity. If people want the Cinderella story of the New England Patriots, the only way we can have that type of situation is by tanking this year. 2027, we get our quarterback. 2027, we have a shit ton of salary cap. We could compete for a playoff spot in 2027. You just got to take the L in 26. You got to take the L in 26. And what's cool is that it's totally safe for coaches to lose massive amounts of games. You know, I can't say that Jeff Hafley would be completely safe if the Dolphins went 0-17 and they were blown out by 30 every game. Maybe they'd fire him. But you got to realize they just gave this guy a new contract. They know that he's got to deal with the salary cap mess from the previous regime. So he's going to get a pass. He's going to get a pass for the most part. But it's not up to us if we tank or not. There's no way that Hafley is going to try to tank. I think Hafley's going to do his best to coach what he has. But the Miami Dolphins front office absolutely 100% knows that if they don't get the right players in here, there's nothing they can do about not winning. Laugh out loud 30 every game. Let's effing go. And Ross is down the tank. He's you're right, Joe. He's tried the tank before. He absolutely has. And if again, Brian Flores, everybody wants to toot Brian Flores' horn. If Brian Flores would have went along with shit, we wouldn't be in the current situation that we are now. If Brian Flores would have just got on board, we wouldn't be in the situation that we are now. But I'm gonna open up the floor. Anybody that wants to come on and give their piece and say what they feel like this team should do, what they feel like, should we tank, should we not tank? What should we do? What should we do with Tua? Sully and Half were hired with that understanding, in my opinion. They have a grace year because we plan to get our quarterback. I agree, Joe. I agree. Halfley won't tank, but when you empty the cupboard of any and all trade value, the picks, which we will do come June, we should have tanked this season to get Mendoza. Joe, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think anybody expected Tua to be as bad as Tua was this year. I think where we messed up in 2025 is that, Chris Greer didn't do enough to help this team as far as free agency goes. I think if Chris Greer helped this team out more in free agency, and Tua wouldn't have had the drop off that he did, we would have at least been a playoff team this year. So I don't know if we should have tanked last week. Joe said I knew by week 3. Yeah, when Tyreek went down, all bets were off. When Tyreek went down, you knew it was you knew we were in trouble. Mendoza looks like Kenny Pickett 2.0, and it's fine. He'll be drafted by the team that has Kenny as starter on roster. So I'm going to open it up. You tell me what the Miami Dolphins should do in the 2026 season, what the Miami Dolphins should do with Tua Tagovailoa. I want to hear from you guys. Well, in fairness, Kenny never did what Mendoza did. That's true. That's true. You're not giving Mendoza enough respect. He took Indiana, which Indiana is not known as a football school, took him to the national championship, won a Heisman Trophy. Kenny Pickett never did that. So put some respect on Mendoza's name. Yeah, definitely trade away anybody has trade value and replace them mid talent. But that way it's not a obvious tank. I don't think you need to do, I would try to trade Waddle if you get a first round pick, but you don't gotta, you don't gotta clear. I mean, first off, this team's not surrounded with a lot of talent, regardless. Maybe if you can trade Fitzpatrick, Waddle, but there's not a lot of talent on this team to trade. Zach Sealer, maybe if you can trade him. I don't know what the contract ramifications are for trading these guys. But yeah, I mean, I think the quarterback situation right now, and people can be as high as they want to be on Quinn Ewers. I think the quarterback situation, the way it is right now, is bad enough that maybe we win 6 games. If Quinn Ewers starts the whole season, maybe we win 6 games with this current roster. It says you're not connected, Michael. I wouldn't trade HN. I would not trade HN. HN is still a valuable piece that we're not going to get enough back in return. I don't feel like you're going to get enough back in return for HN. HN is still super young. HN can still be a part of the future of this team. What's he, 24 years old? I'm not trading HN for a second rounder. Nope. If you can get a first, maybe. If you can get a first, I'm on board. But for a second, I can't do it.
Leading a double life is difficult. He needs to rely on friends for help without making them suspicious.
He just had a bank account, and he moved around a lot from apartment to apartment.
Michael.
He always paid cash for everything.
Hence likes to play the lottery.
Michael.
One day he gets lucky.
Michael, you're not saying anything in the mic, buddy. And your TV's extremely loud.
Hence his boss, Walter Filter, has the ticket.
Michael.
That he doesn't have a driver's license. His boss agrees.
I can't. Michael's not saying anything, and his TV's super loud. You should host a show later tonight. We can all get on. Yeah, I'm thinking about opening up my first X space. Maybe we can do that later. I got to go to the gym tonight. Maybe tomorrow. I'll do my first open X platform where everybody can get on and talk. If you're not following me on X, it's at Swaggy. It's Swaggy C 1984. How about a first in 2018 for HN? Yeah, I mean, I'd consider that. But a second round pick, I'm not taking. I'm not taking a second round pick. It's not Twitter. It's X. It's X. Yeah, Tua won't get fair market value for a running back, maybe a third or fourth. Yeah, you won't get fair. I mean, I think we can get a second for him, but that's not good enough for me. A second's not good enough for me. And what's your opinion? Should the Miami Dolphins take the full cap hit on Tua Tagovailoa this year, or should they space it out? Because I think the Miami Dolphins should just straight up cut him, take the $99 million cap hit this year, and be done with it. I think they should just take the full smash this year. And again, that limits what you can do this year. You're not going to be able to add talent to a team that's already lacking talent. I think the coaches on this football team are questionable. So I think it's going to be a real struggle with the way this team is currently built to win more than 5-6 games. I don't see us winning more than 5-6 games. Over under how many yards would Tyreek get with the Chargers? 700. Over 7. Over 7. I think Tyreek Hill with the Chargers get over 700 yards and at least 5 touchdowns. And that's only not 1700, over 700. And that's just because I don't think he's going to be 100% when he gets back. At the beginning of the season, he's not going to be 100%. He won't be 100% or close to 100% till mid-season. I think there's a good chance he goes to the Chargers. I really wanted to see Mike McDaniel in Buffalo. I mean, that sounds. I hate myself for saying it, but I felt like just because I think the Dolphins made a goddamn mistake. Because I think Mike McDaniel with the Buffalo Bills, they would have signed Tyreek Hill, in my opinion. And I'm so pissed off at the ownership of the Miami Dolphins for the years and years of bullshit they've given us that they almost deserve that shit. They almost deserve to have Mike McDaniel beat them in an important game. I truly believe that. And it hurts me to talk bad about my Fins. It does. But they damn near deserve it. Trade everyone of any value and invest into the 2027 draft. I'd even trade back if the value was good. Remember how many times Tyreek was open downfield and Dolphins quarterback's going to hit him? I wonder what Justin do. I mean, Justin's got the bigger arm. Justin's got the superior arm. So if Justin just throws it deep and Tyreek beats the coverage, I mean, they're going to have a lot of success. Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, and Tyreek, damn, that would be a dangerous wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, that'd be something crazy. That'd be something crazy. Definitely an improvement. Yeah, you don't think that Justin Herbert has a better arm than Tua and, you know what I mean, the Dolphin quarterbacks that he played with? Justin Herbert can probably throw it at least 15 to 20 yards farther than any quarterback Tyreek played with the Dolphins. At least. I wouldn't put it past, Tyreek going back with the Chiefs. So you're saying that Justine shouldn't stop I don't know what the hell that says. Tyreek would never go to the Chargers or the Chiefs division rival. I bet anything he goes to the Chiefs. It's all right, Michael. I mean, I was yelling for you and you weren't answering, brother. Let's take a look at the salary ramifications of releasing Tua straight out. Let's go share screen. Da 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 da. Okay. All right, so right now we're saying 30 million over. If we cut post June 1st, submit, undo. Cut pre 6-1, submit. That takes the salary cap hit just this year, 99 million. But that puts us 73 million over on the year. But look, by doing that in 2027, we don't owe Tua no money. 2028, we don't owe Tua money. 2029, we don't owe Tua any money. We would take the full cap hit right there. But if we wait till June 1st to release him, it'd be 67 million this year. But 2027, we'd still owe him 31 million. So we'd take a big cap hit for him next year as well. So let's see if we can get under the salary cap by cutting him pre 6-1. So that's a $99 million cap hit. We're going to release Tyreek post 6-1, submit. That takes us down to 38 million over. We're going to release Bradley Chubb post 6-1. That takes us to 17 million over. And then again, you don't care about bringing in big name free agents. So you can sign if you're trying to tank and you're trying to rebuild, you can wait till June 1st to sign most of your free agents. You can wait till June 1st to fill out your roster. I caught Austin Jackson post June 1st. You're going to cut Alec Ingold. You're going to cut Jason Sanders. Cut Zach Wilson. Cut Nick Westbrook-Akine. And then we're 5 million under the cap. We're 5 million under the cap. And then if you do things like give Jordan Brooks a new contract extension, give Aaron Brewer a new contract extension, that opens you up to at least 20 million under. And I'm sure there's other moves that you can make. Damn it. I'm sure there's other moves that you can make that, maybe trade in Fitzpatrick, maybe trading Zach Sealer. You know what I mean? That can give you even more cap space to fill out the roster. But if you're not concerned with winning this year, and I'm not saying you're trying to lose, but you're not overly concerned with winning because you want to be at the top of the draft next year, you can wait till June 1st to fill out your roster. It's not a big deal. You can only cut 2 post June 1st to get the money ahead of time. You can cut as many as you want after June 1st. That's how that works. You cut 2 post June 1st and get the money right away. You can spend the money right away. But you can cut as many as you want post June 1st. So, I mean, you can cut 10 people after June 1st. But only 2 of them you'll be able to use the money right away. And again, if you're not overly trying to win, I mean, we don't have the salary cap space to sign a big name free agent anyway. So basically, what you're doing is what Chris Greer did last year anyway. You wait till June 1st to fill out your roster. He went out and signed James Daniels before June 1st. Who did he really sign besides that? Man, I'm not very computer literate there, Miller. So doing all them graphs and stuff like that, that's not something I really know how to do. I'm not a big time show like, some of these people got college students coming on and doing all that stuff for them, and I don't have that luxury. Yeah, I said Nick Westbrook and Kine. Like I said, by cutting the 5-6 players that I did, it took us the 5 under, taking the whole $99 million from Tua this year. And how much does that leave us if we take the whole hit on Tua this year? That leaves us with $149 million in cap space next year. That leaves us with $149 million next year. So not only will you have a top 3 draft pick, hopefully, where you get your quarterback, you'll have $150 million to spend on this team to get them into a playoff contender if you want to. If you want to. Echan's not going to LA, but I think that they would trade Brewer, honestly. Brewer doesn't match up with the type of center that they like to have. Brewer's not a scheme fit for the Green Bay Packers ran offense. And Jeff Hafley said it himself. He wants big, physical, tough guys in the trenches. When you know that they want to run the football, that they still run it, even though you know we're running it. Aaron Brewer does not meet that. Aaron Brewer's been fantastic with the Dolphins. But Aaron Brewer's not known for his strength. He's one of the weaker centers in the league. He's undersized. But he can get out to that second level, and he's very athletic. Yeah, I mean, if you can get that for him, then I'm all right trading Echan. Too many holes to fill. Need $10 million for draft alone. Yeah, Raphael, but you can renegotiate Jordan Brooks' contract and free up another $8-9 million. Aaron Brewer's contract free up another $7-8 million. So that takes you to 20 million. You know what I mean? And then you can fill out the roster with, you'll have your draft pieces. You'll have this year's draft, which we have a ton of draft picks, last year's draft, and then all the other players. And then you put the team together with a bunch of untalented players. And that guarantees you a top draft pick in 27. You got to hit rock bottom before you can reach for the stars, folks. That's just how it is. Grandizer, what up? You got to hit rock bottom. I'm just going what came out of Jeff Heffley's mouth. He wants big physical guys that when we're running the football, we're still running it and you can't stop us. But again, we'll see what they do. The coming free agency is not that far away. If the Miami Dolphins go out there and they sign Malik Willis, we obviously know that, you don't sign Malik Willis on a 1-year deal. If Malik Willis is coming here, they envision him as the starter for the next 2-3 years. I agree, Grandizer. I mean, I think he's a valuable trade asset. He definitely is. So if you don't want to allot money to his future, I mean, you should be able to trade him for a decent draft pick. Man, I would hate to give up Brewer for just a 4th. I'm not big on those late round draft picks, folks. I'm not. It's all right, Michael. It's all right. I appreciate you trying. Oh, absolutely. Brewer's fantastic. Aaron Brewer is fantastic. He's just not one of those big physical offensive linemen. He's under 300 pounds, that's for sure. What's he, 285 at the max? He's not a 6'5", 312-pound guy. He's just not. But he's still fantastic at what he does. I like Aaron Brewer a lot. I do. Hopefully Jeff Hafferly moves Jonas Vayanaya to the other side. Hopefully he at least does that. Achan's value is equal to that of a prime Ricky Williams in my eyes. No, Al, Miller, now you're tripping. Miller, sometimes you be saying some weird shit. There's no way that he has the. I mean, I love Achan, but he's no Ricky Williams. Yeah, I agree, Grandizer. I agree. People talking about AR-15 trade from the Colts. Your thoughts? I mean, it really comes down to, you think that he could be the future of the Dolphins? And for me, you know what I mean? It's low risk, high reward, I guess. If he comes in here and balls out, he's still very young. But man, I don't need somebody else's hand-me-downs. I mean, I guess if you can get him for a 6th-round pick, sure, bring him in and maybe you can, but I don't have faith in Nathaniel Hackett to turn anybody's career around, so that goes out the window. Do you have faith in Nathaniel Hackett to fix AR-15? You have faith in that? Finns want to lose out for several reasons, though, like maybe 4 seasons. They don't need to lose for 4 seasons. They need to lose for 1. 1 season is enough to turn this franchise around. You get out of Capel, you get a top quarterback. Of course, you got to hit on the quarterback. You got to hit on the quarterback pick. You got to. You got to hit on some of these draft picks this year coming up. You got to. You got to hope some of the draft picks from 2025, take another step forward. You got to hope that Kenneth Grant takes a step forward. You got to hope that Jordan Phillips takes a step forward. You got to hope that those guys take a step forward. But if we lose out in 26, that's enough to get us to at least where the Patriots, minus the proven winning head coach. Hackett can't fix a sandwich. And that's why it's mind-blowing to me. Would you trade Chop Robinson? I wouldn't trade Chop. I mean, he's here on a cheap deal. I think Chop still has potential. That was the worst hire so far, Hackett. Jeez. Why not just keep Frank Smith or promote Darrell Bevel? I agree. I mean, Darrell Bevel was already the quarterback coach. I don't know why they didn't promote Darrell Bevel the offensive coordinator. That would have made tons more sense to me. Darrell Bevel was the offensive coordinator for a Super Bowl winning team. Why not promote Darrell Bevel? See that? You a Chargers fan? You want everybody to go Chargers? But yeah, a lot of questions you have to be. I just hope that the one thing that I wish for this season, this offseason, is that we do not go out and sign Malik Willis. I think it'll be a absolute disaster if we do that. Just take a look. The guy hasn't been bad, but he's not a superstar in the making, in my opinion. He's not a franchise guy. He performs great in a pinch, right? He comes in when your quarterback gets hurt and he performs great because teams aren't prepared for his quarterback style. They're not prepared for his quarterback style. So he gets people in trouble. But as far as being a franchise guy where people are able to game plan against him and this, that, and the third, I just don't think Malik Willis is the answer. I don't think he's the answer. Where is the stuff that I got? Let's take a look at Malik Willis's. Eight games in 2022 for the Titans. He was 31 of 61, 50% completion percentage, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 2023 for the Titans. 3 games played, 4 of 5 for 74 yards. He was obviously the backup. For the Green Bay Packers in 2024, he played in 7 games, 40 of 54, 74 completion percent, 550 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. And this year, he was played in 4 games. He was 30 of 35, 85%, 422 yards, 3 touchdowns. But he's dangerous with his legs. In 2024 for the Packers, in the 7 games he played, he rushed for 137 yards and a touchdown. And then 2025, the 4 games, he had 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the numbers look good. But in reality, it's because when he's coming in these games or starting these games, teams aren't overly prepared for Malik Willis. And I don't want to take anything away from him, but look, I mean, let's be real. 7 games played, 3 touchdown passes. 4 games played, 3 touchdown passes. You know what I mean? Obviously, they're running the ball a ton when Malik Willis is in the game. Obviously, they're running the ball a ton while he's in the game. So it's not like he's having to put teams on his shoulder and go out there and throw the ball and win the football game. And then what do I think a contract's going to look like? I think it's going to be more on par with a Baker Mayfield deal. I don't think it might not necessarily be as high as Baker's, a 3-year, $100 million deal, average $33 million a year, signing bonus $28 million. I could see it being a 3-year, $80 million deal, average salary, 27 with maybe a 17, $18 million signing bonus. And that's just too much for the Miami Dolphins. That's just too much, in my humble opinion. This team is not a quarterback away from winning. If they were a quarterback away from winning, shoot your shot. Go ahead, shoot your shot. But this team has far too many holes, far too many things that the Miami Dolphins need to compete. Malik Willis isn't the guy. He's just a guy. You know what I mean? I think he's one of the better backups in the league, but I think that's what he is as a backup. Justin Fields got 2 years, $45 million. Yeah, I think he's a little bit more valuable than Justin Fields. Grandizer, I haven't seen him, but yeah, that sounds good. I'm not the type of guy like, the Ryder McConville. I just tell how I feel. I want to hear your opinions. I tell how I feel about the football team. I'm an avenue where we can discuss Dolphin football. I don't have all the answers. I don't pretend to be a analyst. If you want to go hear professionals, everybody can turn on ESPN. Those guys know football in and out. You know what I mean? So you don't have to go to a lot of these guys to get your information on YouTube. People try to act like they're super professional, that they have the... No, bro. Half of you don't know football. I catch people in lies all the time acting like they... You know what I mean? People will agree to get by. People will say the things they need to get by. I'm just a fan, baby. I'm just a fan. I'm a Dolphins fan through and through. I want to hear your opinion. I'm going to give my opinion. I'm not always right. I don't always pretend to be right. I don't know everything. But who does? Who does? But I'm not going to ever sit here and pretend I know something that I don't. You know what I mean? I'm never going to pretend that I know something that I don't, just so you think that I'm smarter than this guy or smarter. You guys don't need to hear that. Again, if you guys want to hear about schemes and X's and O's type deal, ESPN is available for everyone. And they'll break it down with real life professionals who have played the game of football that know best. You know what I mean? Remember in 2012 when Matt Flynn was the top quarterback free agent that year and Joe Philbin said no to getting him. Now 2026, we got a Packers for head coach and talking about backup Packers quarterback. Yeah, I mean, that's what makes me nervous about Jeff Hafferly, is that it's just too many guys. Yeah, I understand you bring in your buddies here and there, but why aren't we bringing in the best people for the job? Why aren't you doing interviews? Why aren't you Why aren't you getting in contact with the guys and being like, hey, I like the way you do things where you're at. I respect the type of coach that you are. Instead of, hey, I worked with you here. Hey, I worked with you there. Come join my staff. That's a terrible way to do things. That's a terrible way to do things. And that's why I was mad when Sully hired Halfley. I don't believe anybody else was really considered. You cannot tell me that Jeff Halfley was a better option than Sean McDermott. If Sean McDermott was our head coach right now, I'd feel completely different about this team. Matter of fact, I think I'd rather have Sean McDermott than John Harbaugh. I truly believe that Sean McDermott would have been a great fit for the Miami Dolphins. I think he's a man's man. I think he's a leader of men. I think he's a good defensive play. I think he had a bad GM. I really do. I think he was stuck with bad GMs. I think he was given a raw deal in Buffalo. And everybody to each their own. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to smash anybody's content, but when you get certain people out there and you just listen to them contradict themselves time and time again because they want to pretend that they know something about the game of football or that they're more qualified than what they are. If you're a fan, just say you're a fan giving your opinion. But it's these fans that are out here with these YouTube pages that are pretending that they're professionals. And they know who they are. They know who they are. And you take their opinions and you believe them for the most part because you're trusting. You trust people. But lots of times these guys are all you are is a fan giving your opinion, and you're trying to fake the funk like you're more than that. And you're really not. You're really not. And it's okay to just be a fan. I'm a fan of the Miami. I'm not a professional. I'm not. I've never been a head coach anywhere. If you're so smart at football and you know so much at football, why aren't you a coach somewhere? You know what I mean? Why isn't someone coaching at their local high school or local college, or you know what I mean? Oh, you were the third string linebacker on your high school football team? Cool. Cool. I'd love to have Sean McDermott for defensive spot. Not even an option, though. Not that I think that he would have came here, but he got passed up by Jim for the Chargers, and we fired Mike for John, and John didn't want us. All this Packer stuff is fluff. Listen, Miller, I would have rather had McDermott. I would have rather had McDermott for the head coach than John Harbaugh. Grandizer, you know who they are. They're some of the biggest names in the content. They're some of the biggest names in this Dolphin community, you know? Again, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. And I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You know what I mean? And I know the game of football, but not as good as Kurt Warner does. Not as good as, someone that has played the game at the highest level. So why am I going to compete with, if you want to hear that type of stuff, ESPN is readily available. You know what I mean? You got people out there that know their X's and O's better than some YouTube guys. Grandizer, I don't know how to say it, baby. you know, and listen, I have relationships with some of these people. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? A lot of these people, they do this for the money that you put in their pocket, not because they love the Dolphins. I make $0 on the Miami Dolphins. I make $0 doing this. I hope I make some money someday, but I'm not going to lie that I just do it. You know what I mean? I hope I can make some dollars doing this someday. But who knows? Who knows? But again, it's me still just being a fan. It's me just being a fan. That don't make me a professional because I'm on YouTube and I got 55,000 subscribers. You know what I mean? It's I've tricked a lot of people into thinking that I know more than what I do. It's why I don't follow those big names, and except for Reason, I am not even a sub to him. He is way too. I mean, Reason toots his horn far too much for myself. That's just me. Ross taking ownership of this franchise has ruined the football operations entirely. Sure, we got a Hard Rock and now F1, but football will forever be a dog and pony show for Ross. He's 85. Miller, I can't disagree with that. I mean, he's willing to pay the money for the players that we get in, but when it comes down to it, hiring head coaches, bringing the right people in for the job, firing when they don't do a good job, he's definitely off the mark with that. He's definitely off the mark with that. Man, if Halfley is trash this season, we need to go get McDermott next year if he takes this year off at coaching. Sackman, and that's my issue, is that we could have had Jim Harbaugh at one point, but Stephen Ross wasn't willing to cut bait with Mike McDaniel when Jim Harbaugh was available. He should have cut bait with Mike McDaniel. And I worry that we hired Jeff Halfley this year to a 4-year, 5-year contract, and then maybe someone like, and I'm just speculating, someone like Andy Reid becomes available next year. And I think it's possible. I really do. I think if the Chiefs have another bad year this year and maybe miss the playoffs, which is entirely possible considering the division they play in, if Andy Reid decides that he wants to move on from Kansas City, I believe that the Miami Dolphins will not entertain bringing Andy Reid in as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins because Jeff Hafferly's here. And I think that's a massive mistake. Anytime that you can build your franchise up, anytime you have the opportunity to make your franchise better, you need to take it, no matter whose feelings you hurt. Big C, you are a better person than me. I know if I was a content creator, I'd be like the old on the fin side OOTF. He did it as a hobby and started in the late 2000s. Big C, I used to moderate for OTF since 2015, 2016-ish. They went on hiatus in 2022. What is funny is all the big names once got a start with OTF, and when those channels got big, they forgot about OTF. Listen, bro, I've paid hundreds of dollars to have people on my channel, and I've tried to do shows with some of the bigger names, and they ain't got time. But when other big name guys want to do a show, oh, here goes a new show popping up. So I know they don't got time for the little people. It's all about how many dollars they make. And people continue to put money in their pocket. Nobody will cash at me $1, but I continuously watch money being shoveled into their pockets and watching them buy new houses. And you know what I mean? But it is what it is. It is what it is. So Andy can go to the Jets. That's like totally cool. And that's what'll happen. That's what will happen. And people don't see that as a problem. If Andy Reid becomes available and he wants in Miami Miami would be attractive. We'd have a shit ton of salary cap. He'd be able to draft his quarterback of the future. The weather, the first time not coaching in the freezing cold. I'm sure Andy Reid would like to put on one of them big beach shirts that he gets recorded in at the Pro Bowl and stuff. The Hawaiian shirts. I'm sure he would love to coach in South Beach instead of the frigid air of the Kansas City Chiefs or the frigid air of the Philadelphia. But the Miami Dolphins won't even entertain it. They won't even entertain it. I don't know if Andy Reid would retire. Listen. I think Andy Reid probably got one more spot left in him. I really do. Grandizer, obviously I'm not friends. Friends, in my opinion, don't make other friends pay them to come talk football. Sea Devil, are you a Chargers fan? They're not winning 16 games this year, but I could see them winning that division. I could see them winning that division for sure, but they're not winning 16. They're not winning 16. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. Again, if you're not connected with me on Twitter, connect to it. I'm at SwaggyC1984. I think I'm going to do an open platform tomorrow night on there, the first one ever. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk to you guys. Make sure you hit that like button for me, please. Help spread the channel. Again, a lot of changes are coming, a lot of cosmetic changes, a lot of changes to the way I do the show. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000 subs. Hopefully YouTube will let me push through to get monetized so I can make $1 out of 15 cents. But it is what it is. Man, I hope the Miami Dolphins do the right thing. They make the smart move this year. And, you take your lumps. Take your lumps. Yeah, I hope they just take their lumps this year and get back on track and, start fresh. Starting fresh starts with, having the first pick in the draft and taking the quarterback that you feel like is best situated or suited for your franchise. And I would love for us to have our pick. And I know there's been a lot of instances where the number one pick in the draft hasn't panned out. But I'd rather have my team have the option of what player that they want than to be forced into a player because that's what's left. That's what's available. So I'd rather them have their choice. But we shall see. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Fins up for life, always and forever. You know that. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Until then, fins up. Peace.
Yo. Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Marino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it aqua tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.